How's it going, guys? Today, right now, I'm going to go over the starting items that are currently being picked up in the jungle. Really not going to go over all the starting items and all the lanes. Wouldn't really be worth my time. But the jungle, I can really break down the two different starting builds you're going to see every single game. You will see one or the other. If people are still buying Hog or whatever or varying from this, then they're wrong. It's really that simple. Not even trying to be mean or a douche or whatever, but you should not be buying Hog anymore. The starter items really are based on your matchup with you and your mid versus their jungler, their jungler and their mid. So basically, you're going to start with Bumbas Mask every time, unless you're playing Thanatos. Then you can start with whatever you want for damage, but it's usually not Bumbas. Now, if you ever watch me stream or you ever watch me playing competitive, sometimes I will start a game with boots. So I'll have Bumbas, boots, you'll have health pots, you'll have mana pots. To be specific, with boots, I buy 2 health, 2 mana. The reason for this is I'm buying boots because I know I do not want to fight until level 5. I don't want to fight until our ults are up. I have the advantage, I'm ready to go. If you start with boots 1, and you don't try to fight early, you just go for the early farm, whatever, you're just pushing farm as hard as possible, then you will finish boots right around when you hit level 5. So you get a power spike, you'll get your ultimate, then you're ready to fight. The other team will usually have red pot still, but they won't have boots 3. They'll have a red pot, and at most boots 2. So that's like 30 power, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and double check, make sure I'm wrong. Yeah, so you get 20 power from... 20 power from your pot, and then boots 2 is only 10 power. So they're going to cap out at 30 physical power at that point. You're capping out at 40 physical power because you'll have rank 3 boots. So that's the reasoning behind my start like this. When I start boots, it's finish boots at 5 minutes, or level 5, sorry, not 5 minutes. Finish boots at level 5, and then look for the fight. Look for the team fight, not necessarily the one-on-one or whatever. I also buy 2 health pots because considering I'm not trying to fight, I really don't plan on being poked out too much. A lot of the time, if you have bad clear in the beginning, like when you're doing speed buff and blue buff with your solo laner, you might get low on that just because you have shitty clear or whatever. If that's the case, I use a health pot then. Usually end up using a health pot if I'm in lane, I get poked out. Doing mid harpies, I get poked out or whatever. So you have 2 health pots to remain safe. You're optimizing, you have like 150 gold left over, I think, or something like 200 gold, something like that. Sometimes I do ward, at least in competitive. In that case, with this build, you're okay. You can stick with 2 health, 2 mana. You still have extra gold, whatever. Okay, so the other start I was talking about is I go a red pot. So instead of boots 1, I go Bumbas. I start with red pot. I pop it around 20 seconds or so on the countdown. So like you get in the game, you have like a minute and 15 seconds before it gets to 0. So when that timer ticks down to 20, I pop it, I run out of the base, I run, get ready for buffs, which will spawn 30 seconds later. With this start, you're looking to fight. You want to fight before the other team finishes boots. You want to out-trade. You want to trade in lane. In lane, I mean, when you go to middle lane, you want to be trading, trying to fight, poking, whatever, doing everything you can. You actually start with 3 health pots. Sorry, I put that the wrong way. Start with 3 health pots because you're obviously fighting more. The extra health pot lets you sustain a little bit more. You can pop the health pot when you're going in to start fighting. With this start, you're fighting for mid harpies. You're not giving any up for free. If something goes wrong and you don't end up winning the trade or whatever, then it's okay. You just really need to know your matchups when you know to go boots or red pot. And an example of this would be, say I have Hunbats and, I don't know, Nuwa as my team. I'm Hunbats, my mid is Nuwa. The other team's jungler is Thor, and their mid lane is Poseidon. You're not going to win that. The Poseidon will out-clear, because that's what Poseidon does. He pushes mid lane really hard. Thor has some of the highest damage at level like 1 to 5 or whatever it is, 1 to 3. Like, you're not going to out-trade that. Maybe if you're Thanatos or something. But you just really need to know your matchups on when you can fight and when you can't. And if you don't know your matchups, if you don't think it's safe to fight, just go boots. Start boots 1, start your health mana pots, and just look to farm. Don't look to fight. It's really that simple. I get asked this question all the time. If there's anything I didn't cover that isn't specific enough for you guys, then comment, leave questions in the comments below, whatever. I really can't break down every single matchup between jungler and mid versus jungler and mid because it's impossible. There's so many combinations, but there are very distinct differences between a lot of the gods that are very good at level 1 and are much better at level 5. like I said, an example of this, Humbat's level 5 with ult is really powerful. Level 1 with red pot Humbat's not really that scary. So just keep that in mind when you're starting as a jungler. Use either of these builds. For starters, like the starting how you should start out, I'll just pop this in here real quick. I don't do the old AFK start, if you even know what that is, so it doesn't matter if you don't. I don't do paradigm start. If you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. Go back to the old start, where red is done by your mid laner, your hunter, and your support. On the other side of the map, the jungler in the solo lane start at speed, just like before. Solo jungler, go speed blue, and then instead of going to lane as jungler, you go to mid lane. You either get XP or do mid harpies or both, whatever. And then on the other side of the map, it's just like before. Your mid lane, your support, your hunter do red buff, and then the mid lane rotates from red buff to the mid lane to clear, while the hunter and the support do purple onto their lane. It might sound difficult or complex, but it's literally the start you've been doing forever, and that is the best start and safest start you want to be doing right now. So, like I said, any questions, any comments, anything, future videos you want to see, just pop them in the comments below. It really helps me come up with ideas. Like, subscribe to my channel, everything, whatever you can do, help me out. It's really useful. If you don't know, I do stream twitch.tv/Weak3n with a 3, W-E-A-K-3-N. I stream, I answer questions on there. I go over a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know. Like, I try to teach-ish as much as I can while I'm playing. I do talk with my viewers a lot, so pop one in there if you can, and I'll see you guys later.